Hello and welcome to part one, the necessity of relationships. And today, Miranda and myself, we're going to talk to you about why relationships are a necessary part of life. I'm twisting my words already, we're just getting started. So there are a lot of human needs that we all have. You know, we need to eat, we need to have food, we need to have shelter, protection, all these kinds of things. Well, one of these needs is the need for relationships. Yeah. And what I want to show you guys today is that you were designed and built for relationships.
That's right.
So, so I've got some notes here, so excuse me if I look down a little bit. But we have these social and belonging needs, and part of these needs is this need to connect to other people, other communities, connect to something greater than ourselves. And this is so paramount because even in our culture today, there's a lot of isolationism. There's a lot of things that say, well, you just have to worry about yourself and you don't have to concern yourself with other people. And this leads to a lot of negative effects.
Yeah, we're designed to be with people and around people, as much as sometimes we don't know how to function within relationships, and so we can get overwhelmed by being with people. It's very important that we have people in our life. We're not supposed to do life alone. You need to have people you can believe in, trust in, confide in, seek counsel from, but also how to be you in your relationship with yourself, because that's another relationship as well.
Yeah. So part of the reason that we really want to drive this home is because there's a lot of negative effects to being isolated. You get depression, anxiety, fear comes in. These can trigger your stress response, and then that can lead to autoimmune disorders, just a whole host of things. And really, I want to go back to Scripture, because when God made man, he looked at man and he said, it's not good for man to be alone. Right?
That's good. That's right.
So God did not design mankind to live in isolation, to be by himself. Mm-hmm. And so he says, okay, I'm going to make woman, which I thought was pretty awesome. But there's another, as we kind of unpack this, there's another thing here in Genesis 2:18, and let me read it real quick just so I'm clear. It says, the Lord God said, it is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him. Now, if your background is similar to ours and you come from religious circles, you're going to hear, especially the women, you're going to hear a lot about submission, and you have to submit to your man, and it doesn't matter if he's a jerk, you got to do everything he says and be a doormat, right? You ever heard that message?
I've heard that.
Yeah.
That's another story.
But here's the thing, this helper, that word is so loaded, because when we hear the word helper, we think of subservient, right? If somebody's helping you, that means somehow you're a little bit higher than they are and they're a little bit lower than you are. That word does not mean helper the way we understand it. It really means partner. A partner is an equal. An equal that is different, as in they bring something different to the table. They have different skill sets, different strengths, right? But they are an equal participant. And so really that passage, we should have rendered it, I will make a partner suitable for him. And so, obviously we're talking about romantic relationships, marriage relationships here. In this portion of it, but really it's all about a partnership, because man was not designed to be alone. We need a partner to go through life together. Okay, so that's number one. So we want to really talk about the emphasis of having relationships with romantic relationships, husband and wife, but even relationships with family, our relationship with our church community, or even our work community, other extended communities, recreation things that
relationships with your children is another one too.
Yeah.
And some of you guys might be thinking, but I'm around people all the time. I have relationships, but I wanted to kind of challenge you guys at the The idea of this 30-day program that we're giving to you guys is to take your relationships to the next level, okay? So you're around people all the time, but a lot of times our communication, I've kind of heard it said that your communication can remain up here, which is like surface level communication. What you want to do is begin to bring relationships down to a deeper level, which you can't see my hands, but down by your gut, by your stomach. That's more of an intimate, deeper relationship with people, and that is what we have lost as a culture. Now we stay on a surface level. How was your day? Okay, you guys doing this? And it's just all about what's going on in the community, what's going on in the world, politics, all that surface level, but really bringing your communication to a deeper level where you really begin to share your thoughts, your dreams with people, your heart with people. That's really our goal for this program, is designed to take you to a deeper relationship with the people that you're already around. Because if you're anything like me, or thinking, I can't even use the bathroom without kids coming in, and you're around people all the time. So we understand that you do have relationships, but our goal is to help you take that to the next level.
Yeah. And, you know, if we talk about the foundation that the first relationship was built on, you know, God made Adam and Eve in his image, right? He made them male and female. So really what we have is two halves that when they come together, they make up a whole. So really, the woman represents 50% of the nature of God, and the man represents another 50% of the nature of God. And together, it's a picture of God's complete nature. And again, it's another testament that we are not supposed to live in isolation. You know, it's really interesting to me that so often that we try to get in these we put ourselves in these positions rather where we're trying to be the preeminent ones, where it's all about me, it's all about my stuff, it's all about my desires, my wants, etc., etc. And as long as I can find that right girl that will come along and do everything I want to do, somehow she's the perfect one. And the woman kind of says the same thing. I just got to find the right man that will, you know, fulfill all my needs, and he'll be the right one. But when we do that, we divorce ourselves from really drawing in from the different strengths that each has, right?
Yeah.
So, where are we at here? So we are designed for interdependent relationships. That's very clear, even from Scripture. That God did not design man and woman to live in isolation from each other and only to come together for procreation or whatever. He designed them to go through life together because they represent one half. You know, so two halves make a whole.
You know, even if you're currently at a phase where you're not married yet, this is something you can put in the back for when you do. Because I'm sure most little girls have dreams of getting married one day, and they watch Cinderella and all these amazing love stories because they want to have a relationship and be married one day. So if you're not married, practice on the relationships around you. So when you do get married, you have learned how to develop deep relationships with your friends, with, you know, if you have nieces and nephews, if you have any children, if your parents, take those relationships that you have around you to the next level. The idea here is to help you take your relationships, what you currently have, to begin to build upon it, to go to the next level. People want somebody to go to they can trust. People want somebody they can go to that is willing to listen and to understand them. But it's hard to find people nowadays that will do that. It's hard to find people that we can trust, that just want to be an ear to hear and not question us and be there to support us. And so taking your relationships to that place is really where you're going to find freedom and value, because when you begin to be that to somebody else, that need you have for deep relationships is going to be met.
And you know, when you think about all the different kinds of relationships that we try to give ourselves to, you know, romantic relationships, marriage, family, community, it's just another testament that we are designed for these interconnected relationships. And the pinnacle of every relationship, again, going back to the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve, they were naked and they weren't ashamed. And that's really where we want to get to, not physically naked, but transparent from, you know, not just the head level, but, you know, from our heart level. We want to be transparent with one another and almost vulnerable. And when you feel secure enough to be vulnerable with another person, that relationship can go to a much deeper much deeper place.
And if you're wondering, well, I want to get to that place where I feel secure and deeper, keep listening, because in sessions to come, you're going to discover exactly how you get there. Actually, starting the next session, we're going to build upon that to help you get to that deep place with people. But it starts within you. You're the change. The change begins here within you. So if you say, I want a deeper relationship with my marriage, I want a deeper relationship with my kids, I want a deeper relationship with my parents, the change begins in you.
Mm-hmm. What we want to instill in this first session is that we are designed and built for relationships. Mm-hmm. We are not designed to live outside of relationships. Relationships really need to be one of our top life priorities. The quality of our relationships is going to determine the quality of our emotional, mental, and physical well-being. So it's very important. And I think just a lot of times people just don't really give it the put in the work rather that it takes to build a quality relationship with those around us.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is more as social media has grown and more that we have our friends on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, those really, as that has grown, what we've actually seen is suicide increase, depression has increased, mental health has increased. We're seeing an increase because the natural human need for every person is to belong, to be a part of something greater. It's a need that God knitted in you. We can see all the way in the beginning with Adam and Eve. That was a need that was placed within man and woman in the beginning, and that need is no longer being fulfilled because we've turned to these superficial, almost, I want to call them the right way, fake relationships, because you only see the best of other people. You're only seeing a very small portion of people. And now that we have phones and half the time we're texting, we don't even pick up the phone and hear each other's voice anymore. Yeah. So this need for human relationship, this need for belonging is no longer being fulfilled. It's a need that's dying out inside of you. It's a need that's dying inside of your children. It's a need that's dying inside of your spouse, inside of your parents, because culturally we've moved away from relationships. Yeah.
Social media, for all its benefits, it does have a lot of negatives, and you'll hear us mention this, in other videos as well. But it does really lend itself to isolation, which really seems counterintuitive because we're more connected than we've ever been in the history of man.
Oh yeah.
We've got thousands of people that know us on Facebook, and we can talk to anybody at any given time, and they're just a few clicks away.
Apparently I have thousands of friends, but when something comes crashing down, I don't call them all. I don't even know half their phone numbers.
But see, that's the thing. It's social media. It really builds isolation under the guise of I'm connected to everybody. Because it's all the communication's right here. It's all head. It's like, how's the weather? How are you doing? It's all this surface level type communication, and you never get transparent. You never achieve that relational nakedness with those that you're connected to. And so the relationship never goes to a deep and meaningful level. And when you're not in a place where you can be heard, where you can express yourself, when you feel safe to be vulnerable in that way, then you're isolated, you're cut off, and your spirit feels it. Your spirit can tell. So
if you're in a place right now where you're like, well, I feel that I'm not in a safe place to share my, and you might be thinking of your husband, you might be thinking of your kids or your parents, well, I'm not in a place where I can share. What I want to help you do is get the mindset out of, I'm not in a place to share. I want you to switch that mindset into what can I do to create an environment where other people feel safe to share. So no longer is it about you feeling safe to share, but you want other people to feel safe to share. When that need, and you create that atmosphere around you, it's like a garden, you want to create that garden around you, and other people can share, you are now at a safe place where you can share as well. Okay, so if you're in that, if you're thinking, well, I can't share and I need this and this is a need, I want you to stop thinking about what I need, and I want you to now to shift your mindset on what can I do to create this environment. What can I do to create an atmosphere for other people to share? What can I do? Okay, because there's always something that can be done, but it takes a mindset that's willing to look from a different perspective and say, what can I do? Because we all have a part to play in this.
Yeah. So you're beginning to see how important relationships are to our lives. They're important to our physical well-being. They're important to how we live, how we do everything. All comes down to relationships, whether it's, again, marriage, whether it's family, whether it's with our kids or extended communities, whether that be spiritual or secular, it doesn't matter. We all have these connections, and we desire to be connected to people in different capacities in different ways. But we have to be willing to put the work in. And like Miranda said, we have to be, take ownership of what can I do to create the conducive environment for people to go from here to here as they relate to me.
Yeah.
So.
That's really good. That's really good. And there's a lot of things that will play a role in that. And then we're going to be talking about that in the next few videos. Answering that question, what can I do? We're going to help you navigate that. So you can take time to journal. You've got a worksheet there as well that you'll be going through. But I want you to start to journal too. What can I do to create an atmosphere, okay? Or what things have I done that maybe creates people not to feel so safe to talk around me? So when people begin to share, have I began to question what they were saying? Did I not show belief in them? So 93% of all communication is nonverbal. What's your nonverbal communication? Are you looking at your phone when somebody's trying to talk to you? Because that's sending the message, I don't care what you have to say. Mm-hmm. When somebody's trying to talk to you, you want to set that down, especially your children, because they want to be heard and they want relationships, okay? So asking yourself those couple of things of what can I do and maybe what have I done that I need to start shifting, and being open and being humble and being willing to learn and grow is the key to changing this, because we're going to give you tools, we're going to give you techniques, but this is ultimately up to you. Yeah. What you put into this is what you will put out of this. And where you're willing to say, God, show me, reveal to me, help me to change, God will answer that. We're going to give you the tools and techniques, but ultimately He's the one that's going to walk you through this journey, because your journey is very different in life. You have a different message that's in your heart. You've gone through life differently. You've got things to share, and that message needs to come out of you. And working on this area of relationships is going to begin to lay that foundation to where you can share what God has given you to share.
Yeah. Awesome.
Good.
So yeah, put in the effort, put in the work. It's important to your long-term health, to your emotional well-being, to your physical well-being. And you would not be watching this video if you didn't want to improve in this area. And we all have to improve in this area, right? Especially this one right here. So.
Sometimes.
All right, guys.